Good evening and welcome to the FE Bar. I'm your host, Jack George Maynard, and joining me for the first time in a long time, it's Jack Pickering. Pascal Wehrlein now leads the championship after his win on Saturday, but it was Lucas de Grassi out of nowhere who won Sunday's race in Lola. Incredible! Loads to go at today. Dan Ticktum, where could he go as his chances in being in Gen 4 is a little bit slim as he might get kicked out of Kiro. Mahindra struggle again and Mitch Evans couldn't even race on Sunday. Remember, we cannot do this show without you, so !Discord in chat. Come and have your say on the only FE fan phone-in show. Mr. Pickering, welcome back. We're back together. The gang is back. It's been a while, but we're back.
It has. I think from memory, like the last time that we've been both in vision, if you pardon the pun, was the Madrid Eprix.
Wow.
Then we had the 5-week gap. Then we did Berlin Monaco, which you obviously weren't here for. The
Nope.
first two that you've ever missed. And then in the week where we had the Shanghai E-Prix and also the calendar announcement, I was in Greece. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while, but do not worry, I am back now. So
good, back and raring to go. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you might see something really important in the background.
What, of my one?
Yeah,
of my
of
shot?
your one.
Yeah. Something happened on the weekend.
Something happened on the weekend.
Yeah, there was this race at Silverstone.
Yeah.
And I worked 4 14-hour shifts in a row.
Yeah. And your best friend did something. What did your best friend do?
I wouldn't say best friend. I mean, I'd love to be best friends.
Well, maybe you will be. Maybe you will. Maybe this is the start of you becoming a best friend.
You need to turn my mic up.
I've
if you
done
haven't done it already. Okay. Whilst I was on my journey to Silverstone, I was watching the Shanghai E-Prix, and for those who weren't listening to the Miami E-Prix,
is it the Miami E-Prix when we said this?
This one here decided that he'd go, are you going to interview Joel Eriksson in Swedish?
No, hold on. There must have been a bit more premise in that.
Well, yeah, because he had a decent race. He finished 4th,
okay.
and then you went. Oh, are you going to interview Joel Eriksson in Swedish? No, because I know the smallest amount of Swedish known to man. And I said, go on then, but only if he gets a podium. Stort gratis, Joel Eriksson.
He's only gone and done it, mate. How were you feeling, right, when watching? Because I thought for a genuine second he could win that race.
Yeah, I think he had that race sewn up. Had it not been for rather ironically, Zane Maloney conking out, which gave the win to Lucas de Grassi. So, like, just a case in point, because I was so busy at work this weekend, I only watched the races 2 hours ago. So I've just come straight out of this, so I may not have different information or anything like that. In my eyes, Jean-Eric Verne's still under investigation for the yellow flag infringement. This is how recent I am coming into it.
So was half the
even
grid.
though I'm fairly certain that's a no further action, right?
Yeah, they all got warnings.
Right, there we go. I found out on air.
We'll talk to Tobias Wirtz about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So we'll do a little preview then of what's to come on tonight.
Yeah.
FE Bar.
But yeah, with Eriksson, I was surprised that they took the attack mode, because they took the attack mode after Zane had stopped.
Yes.
So
we're going to
at
talk
which
about
point,
that.
surely you go, unless they thought there's no hope of recovering that, and so because you must take attack mode, you don't necessarily have to finish it. That's the new rule for this year, but you have to at least take it. So unless they thought that safety car was going to stay out for the entire remainder of the race, there was no point in taking it then and there. And so, yeah, I feel bad for Joel, because I think he had that race sewn up.
He did have that. It was looking. I was shocked because the pace that he had out of nowhere, but he was so high on energy, and I was like, mate, how has he done this? But I think it was a little bit of this dry setups that also helped with Lucas de Grassi as well.
Yes.
That was there. But I thought, wow, like, it just all of a sudden it looked like Verline, right, was going to make it 2 from 2. He was dominating, controlling the race, and then all of a sudden it just changed like at a drop of a hat, and all of a sudden all these, Ericsson was there, and everyone was catching Verline, and then bam, it was. I honestly was left speechless after that race because I was just shocked, right? And obviously, great for Verline, great for not for Verline, but great for Ericsson. That's what I wanted to say. But then Lucas de Grassi, it just fell. His teammate causing the full course yellow, right? And then he still got an attack. And this is what we keep saying. Have that attack mode and leave it for as late as possible. Because now that you don't have to complete it, the fact that you could just use a little bit of it and still gain some advantage for Lucas to win the romance of the story, to win the first Chinese E-Prix and to win his last Chinese E-Prix in his retirement season. Incredible, like unbelievable, and that's why you can't bet on Formula E, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
No, and yeah, to put it in perspective, on lap 17, Lucas de Grassi was last, Jean-Eric Vergne was second last, and Joel Eriksson was 15th. And
incredible.
But yeah, the Sunday race was a very weird one. But it is like we can look at it, but we can compare and contrast, because I'd say that second race on Sunday was very, very similar to what we had in Miami. Yeah. Earlier in the year, in terms of like behind the safety car start due to the conditions.
Yep.
You had everyone taking attack mode on lap 1.
Yep.
And in the Miami race, those who took attack mode really early on spread their I almost said legs. Spread gapped everyone out.
Yeah, they managed to get a good start.
Yeah, they gapped everyone else, and they were the ones fighting for the win. Whereas in this one, even though that the two Porsches had gapped everyone, and then it was the two Andrettis, and then you had everyone else, the fact that the track dried a lot quicker meant that we had the surge of Jev and de Grassi come through. Like, personally, I don't think that. I think Envision had basically almost dry, like 100% dry setup. But I don't think they had like completely dry, because they were still kind of like they weren't like right at the back.
It was a horrible weekend for Mahindra.
Whereas I think Mahindra had. They went the other way. They went completely full wet. It's going to stay wet for the entire thing, and that's why they fell so far to the back at the end of the Sunday race. But I thought overall it was a really decent weekend. I mean, it was an absolute shocker for Mitch Evans, but I'm sure we'll get onto that as well. But there are so many talking points to get through in the next couple of hours.
Let's do an FE bar preview. What's coming up on tonight's show? So, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on tonight's show at 8:30, we will be joined by Tobias Wirtz from eFormel.de to talk about everything Shanghai, from just everything basically. And then later on as well, we've got another special guest, first time in a long time, at 9 o'clock. Not Nick Golding this time. Obviously, he's in China flying back as we speak at this precise moment. We've got Jack Smith from Motorsport Week. He'll be joining us as well. Talking points, though, we definitely want to talk about how good Verline was, because, oh my God, right, how good was Pascal Verline this weekend, and it was probably unlucky in not getting the two race wins. Obviously, we just touched on Lola. We'll talk about them if you want to talk about them. Mitch Evans, as you said, terrible weekend. Great start, right? Solid start. Just went away. The racing goes, picked up some points. But Sunday's race, not even getting on a DC error, whatever that means. Tobias probably will be able to explain a little bit more on Tobias Tech Talk.
What it is, I can explain it. Is it's David Coulthard is dressed like the twins from that horror film, the ones that stand there at the end of the corridor and go, come and play with us. And he was just standing in front of Mitch Evans' car, and that's why Mitch couldn't take the start of the Sunday race.
Shame. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But then Mahindra as well, though, struggling again. Where's Mazrul Khan? He's in the chat. Right, Motara, championship contender. I said talking nonsense. Turns out to be true.
Are you just drive-bying every single person who comes on tonight? Are you just going to do like a drive-by?
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I'm going to critique you on absolutely everything. But also, please come on our show.
Of course. But it's the banner. That's what we love. Dan Tickton, Kira, I really want to hear from some Dan Tickton fans tonight because, Tom said in commentary and then stories came out after from what Tom said that his tenure at Kiro may be coming to an end. So, where could he go? Is this the end of the road for Dan Tickton? That's a bit scary. And we touched on Joel Eriksson as well, but we're happy to talk about Joel Eriksson. But we're going to take some calls. We're going to get started because we know we're competing against Spain and Portugal tonight. Big game.
Yes, we are. It's still 0-0.
Still 0-0, but we're going to go. And I'm going to go. We've got a new caller. I want to get this person in. I've been dying to have them on. Now, I'm going to have to get their name, right? I think it's Yang Xiao, but that's what their Discord name is. But we'll find out what their name is. If you can hear us, you are live on the FE bar. Please do not swear. We'll give you a couple of seconds to potentially unmute. But if not, don't panic too much. We'll try and get you back on. I know it's your first time, and hitting that unmute button is incredibly scary.
I had to do it in the last one.
Yeah, I know. Dan is my guy. Come on, we want to hear from you. You think he's going to Porsche? Get on the show. Come talk to us. Right. MH, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello.
I can hear you guys.
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Or how would you like to be
Ming.
referred to?
Yeah, you can call me Ming. Like
Mang.
the Ming Dynasty. Yeah.
Okay, Mang. I'll call you Mang. Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Long time fan, like I've been, listening to your podcast since season. You guys have been doing it since season 5?
Yeah, no.
Season 3?
Oh,
Yeah.
the COVID day. Yeah,
back in the day.
It was his idea during COVID doing the show, and then it turned into this. But
This is better, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, that would have been like what? Yeah, that would have been 5 because it would have been
season 5.
5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
what's taking you so
I've been
long?
watching.
What's taking you so
Yeah.
long to get on here?
Yeah, it's I'm all the way out in Asia, so
Nice. Whereabouts?
Yeah, Malaysia.
Oh,
So
Malaysia. How far
yeah.
from Putrajaya? Because that was obviously the Malaysian E-Prix track that we had. Were you close
so
to there?
about 35 to 45 minutes away.
So were you a
so-
Formula
That's
E
not
fan?
far.
Were you a Formula E fan back
Yeah.
then, or were you not a Formula E fan back then?
So I've been following maybe on and off for the first 2 seasons, a little bit there, but I've been following really diligently since Mexico 2017.
Mexico 27. So you never went to the Malaysian races.
Yeah, so unfortunately I've not been to the races in Putrajaya, but So,
One day,
but
one day.
Yeah, one day if it comes back to Sepang,
Yep.
So, yeah, but so this race
Yep.
in Shanghai was wow, it reminded me really much of Mexico 2017, how the Grassi
Did Grassi overtaking Verline
even-
on the
No,
No,
that was
Verline.
19. 17 was the
damn.
one where Degrassi had to change his wing on rear wing. Lap 1 came through the field. I was trying to work it out in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah,
It's
so was I.
season
So
3.
was I. I was trying to row back through my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a gamble, a gamble situation, and then it was such a good comeback story. I remember Degrassi was behind Buemi that season after Buemi won 3 races in a row.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was really crazy, and I didn't imagine that we would get to see Degrassi win another time before his retirement from
Yeah.
FE. So it was really, really cool. So that's and I think it's a really crazy week for the championship. Even Evans having a DNS, Roland not doing pretty well, but I think he
Yeah.
he recovered pretty well on Sunday
Yep.
by doing that gamble
Yeah, that
of
was
changing
insane.
his players. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think
the fact
like
that he...
it's yeah,
Sorry, go on.
oh, no problem. Yeah, it's a pretty cool race, yeah.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, right, from start to finish. Like, it was just incredible, right? And it left you speechless. Like, let's talk about Degrassi a little bit, because you're right. I don't think anyone in their right mind, right, would have said Lucas Degrassi will win a race this season, because that Lola
No.
hasn't been that strong, and it's been Zane Maloney who has probably got the better of Lucas Degrassi. Lucas Degrassi's picked up some points here and there, but Zane's the one getting it into the duels and so forth, and getting it those odd appearances, whereas Degrassi wasn't able to do that. So for Degrassi to come through, it just shows you, right, and what one race can do in terms of confidence potentially. And it'll be interesting to see now if Degrassi can do anything in his next couple of races, just to see if there is a little bit of upturn in form. But it just shows you how wild, man, Formula E is, right? In terms of, you can't predict it. Like, I've always wanted to do like a prediction show and or something around that, and it's like, you can't do it because yesterday happens, and you like, what's the point?
Well, we'll have to see if anyone's because obviously whilst we were in Valencia last season, we did another round of the predictions that myself, Golding, Toby, Jack, and Don Wild did last year. But yeah, then there's more of us this year. But we'll have to see if anyone said that in London. Which, I mean, if they did,
I don't think anybody did.
I think they should get double points just for that alone.
I don't think anybody did. Mang, what did you make of Degrassi then? What did you make of that race and his performance and cutting it way through the field?
Well, it was pretty fun. Like, I think we were watching. If you were watching live, you were like you would have noticed like he was the three of them, like Ericsson, Jeff, and him were like languishing behind like 17, 18, 19, as they
Yeah.
mentioned. Like yeah, and then like you started noticing him come up. Like, I think for him it wasn't even with attack mode. So he hasn't even taken his attack mode yet, and then like you slowly notice him coming up, and then when he started like taking his attack mode just before Zane had like that suspension failure and stuff like that, then you were like, oh wow, he's that far up
Yeah.
already. And like, because in the beginning of the race, actually, like I kind of like, before they talked about it in the commentary, I remember like they were talking about it on the grid, which
Yeah.
I found like really funny because like I think James Oster and Katie Munnings was like looking for like people to interview, so like they caught
Yeah.
Degrassi
Talking with
on the
Vern,
grid.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like really curious, and like I thought it was really funny, and then like it really did kind of pay off because like I think they were thinking like it was not gonna rain at all,
Yeah,
and the
because
tracks
I
was gonna dry.
I think that was really interesting, because they were both sort of trying to find out about the weather at that point, right? So they must have known that they were on this sort of dryish setup, and they obviously,
Mm,
maybe he was talking to Vern, and it's a bit weird to talk to a
mm,
competitor about it. But maybe that was
mhm,
what was going on, like realizing, look, or maybe they're just clever enough to notice that they're both on dry setups, and then they're trying to get weather
mhm,
updates. Because yeah, both of them nowhere, and then all of a sudden both of them are up there, and you're just like, and that just shows you experience, right? And that's where experience. They say experience in Formula E is so important, and that's where it
mhm.
shows it in moments like this. Pico, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's definite. Yeah, it's interesting because I wouldn't have put. I know that they're like old heads of Formula E, but they're on different teams, different
Yeah.
manufacturers. So I found that really interesting that they were going to like collaborate a little bit on their plans. But I think I think when because I was watching the because I was watching the coverage back again a couple hours ago. I think James Roster said in commentary, if it's a dry race, it's going to be a bit of a pack race, and we kind of know
which we kind of expect.
But if it's going to be a wet race, no one knows what's going to happen, and and that is more or less what did happen. It was a very, very wild race from start to finish. But the thing is, it didn't feel like too much of a pack race, because we did have that first kind of broken up part of the race where the Porsches and the Andrettis, they went off into the distance, and the likes of Grassi and Verne just sat back and did nothing for the first 60% of the race.
Yeah, it was a great race. Mang, thank you so much for phoning and your first one. What time is it in Malaysia?
It's about 3:30. But
Jesus, that is commitment.
It's worth it.
Thank you so much. Honestly, you're more than welcome, and I'm glad you obviously like the show and been following us for a while.
I will say, most of England was up at 3:30 last night. I wasn't one of them because I was conked out, but most of England was up at 3:30. So I think some people do. I woke up
for the second.
Honestly, kudos to the fact that you come on at 3:30.
You afraid?
I couldn't do that.
And we massively appreciate it. And I know time difference is an issue, but if you ever want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome to. Thank you for coming on.
All right, no problem. Thanks, guys.
No worries. See you later.
All right.
Wow, that's what I love about this show. That's my favourite thing about this show, is that we bring people from all around the world, right? 3:30 in the morning, and he stayed up just to have his say on Formula E. I love that. I really do. Well, we've got a couple of minutes before we bring Tobias in from eFormula News. Let's talk. We'll have a quick discussion about Mahindra then, because I'm shocked about how I said this is a Mahindra track, right? And Mortara has to win, right? You're looking at me like it's not a Mahindra track.
Yeah, well, no, well, it wasn't. I mean,
it wasn't. But if you think
it wasn't, it's the long and short of it, mate.
But the pace was there though. But they seem to do this a lot. The pace is there in practice, and then it just disappears. But when you think about track characteristics, Monaco, nice surface. Shanghai, nice surface. Madrid, nice surface. Like tracks where they have done well at. Valencia, where
proper circuits.
Yeah, proper circuits. And so you thought Shanghai was going to be right. If Mortara was going to be a championship contender, right, and Mahindra were going to do this last minute fight for maybe a team constructors and really making a little bit of a challenge towards the front, this was the weekend to do it, and they didn't do it. And it's just errors after errors after errors, and it just shocks me that they've got such a good powertrain, but they can't do anything with it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the Sunday race. They must have been running the wet setup, because there is no way that because I might be wrong, even though I only watched this a couple of hours ago, but I swear both Mahindras were in and around like top 5, top 6 in like the first couple laps of the race.
Yeah.
I might have been on the Saturday race. I'm not sure. I watched them back to back, and it's all kind of blurred into one. But for them to be so far off, I think did De Vries pit because he was like 20 seconds off of absolutely everyone else. Edo was just at the back of the pack. That's just where he was in the back end of that race.
To be fair, it was such a mad race, mate. That remembering the key points, I think is just the best thing to do. But
I think the fact that I watched it I think the fact that I watched it like a couple of hours ago means that I've retained a little bit more information, because I did have it on whilst it was live, but I was also running around packing my lunch, making sure that I got absolutely everything that I needed for the day, because there was no way in hell that I could come back if I'd forgotten something.
Yeah.
So and it was as
long as you remembered your clothes, that was the most important thing. Surely you could have brought lunch, worst case scenario, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only things that I forgot was my fridge raiders on Friday, which I was very upset about because I love a fridge raider. And then on Sunday, I forgot my tinny that I was going to have at the end of the shift, because that's my last major event that I'm doing at Silverstone done. So I was going to have a tinny just to see it off, but thankfully someone brought in a mini fridge stacked with beers. So there was, to put it in Dan Tickton terms, 1 million beers available.
Nice. Well, we're now joined by someone who maybe can drink 1 million beers. It's Tobias Wirtz.
It's not October yet.
From eFormula News. How are we, buddy? And another person, you were on TV this weekend as well. How was your TV appearances?
Yeah, good evening, guys. I've never heard such words about me. 1 million beers. Okay, it's fine. Yeah. Yes, I was in the TV studio again, being the expert for German television this weekend, due to David Beckman, who's usually the expert, being on site as a reserve driver for Porsche. Yep. So yeah, had the opportunity to comment the races again live in German television.
Honestly, such a cool experience, and now you get to be the expert on the FE bar and filling us all in with the information about the weekend. I want to start because obviously we got to start with the main story, right? The Lola. No one would have ever predicted that in terms of Lucas Di Grassi winning that race. Talk to me about the difference, because we know it's about tyre pressures and we've seen it before, how the Rowitt plays, and maybe you can explain a little bit more, but like in terms of this wet-dry setup, how on earth did Lucas Di Grassi manage to win this race?
At first he had, of course, a bit of luck, because there was no rain during the race. People were not sure if it will stay dry or if there will be race again. I think some of the teams had the information that it would be raining again after 20-25 minutes, something like that. But this rain never happened. Yep. So yeah, he was in a good position. Regarding tire pressures, as we all know, in Formula E, we don't have different tires until yet. For rain and dry setup, but the tire pressure is different in dry and in wet conditions. When it's wet, you want to have a very high pressure, because you don't want to get aquaplaning, and in the dry situation, it's exactly opposite. And if it's dry, you want to put the pressure as low as possible to have as much as grip as possible to drive through the corners, to accelerate after the corners. So Hankook has a minimum and a maximum pressure. That's the same for every team, for every driver. The minimum is 1.2 bar, the maximum is 2.7 bar. And I think that's the thing. I think some of the drivers, they were using maybe 1.2, 1.3, maybe 1.4 bar. And those drivers had big problems at the beginning when there was standing water on the track. I remember Dan Tickton saying on the radio, why are those drivers braking so early? That's because they had the dry tire pressures, and if they brake as late as he would brake, the tires would lock up, and they would went straight into the barrier or into the grass or the gravel or something like that. So they had to be very careful in the beginning of the race, but then it dried up really quickly. And Lucas Di Grassi had the right strategy. He did not take his second attack mode before the full course yellow.
Yep.
And after the full course yellow, he took the second attack mode, and neither Ericsson nor Verne, the other two drivers with dry tire pressures, had
Yep.
had a chance to defend against him.
Yeah, because this is
But
where
I just wanted to come in on that as well because I wanted to ask because Ericsson took his attack just before the full course yellow came out, but they'd already done a lap where Zane was sitting there. Do you think that's because Envision thought that the race might not get restarted, or was that just an error from them?
No, I think that's exactly as you said. They were not sure if the race will get green again because it was not sure if the car could be pushed away with that suspension failure. So he took the risk to take it before the full course yellow. Probably they thought the full course yellow would not be long enough. I remember the Porsche engineer saying to Pascal Wehrlein, maybe if it's going quick, we will have still some time of attack mode left. But that was not the case. So again, Grassi gambled, and
because we have
it proved him right.
We have the picture that you sent us about
Yes.
the attack modes on the screen, and we can see, like, because I said to Pico at the beginning of the show, like, you know, I thought Ericsson was going to win this, and you can see, like, he had 3 minutes and 33 seconds, but obviously with the full course yellow being out for so long and him losing that, and the Grassi still having that attack mode left, it left him in such prime position. And even Pascal Wehrlein, even though he was on the wet setup, he still lost 2 minutes. He had a good chance there of trying to get back in front of the Grassi, potentially.
Probably, but I'm not sure, to be honest, because there were I think 2.5 laps left after the full course yellow, and it was so dry. I think Wehrlein lost about 5 seconds after the end of the full course yellow. So I'm very sure this would be P4 even if he did not lose the 2 minutes and 22 of his attack mode.
Yeah.
I screenshotted this in that moment when the full course yellow started. So I think it was not possible for him to get back the one place at least. So P4 was the best he could bring home, to be honest.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Pascal Wehrlein, because what a weekend he had. Because the Saturday race, you know, you felt like you could never obviously write off Porsche and Pascal Wehrlein, but the pure domination that he had, and then he took that into Sunday as well, right, in terms of, right, and he just, like, I can't put anybody else on in saying that they can win the championship. For me, if everything goes according to plan, and I know that's a big if in Formula E, but Wehrlein, wow, I think he's better than what he was when he won the Season 10 championship.
Maybe, but you're saying that now after the Shanghai weekend. I think 3 weeks ago, or maybe 5 weeks ago in Monaco, nobody would have said the same thing.
Yeah, but in Monaco, he said he had a bad set of tyres. He got this unlucky hand. I don't know. I'm sure you would have spoken to him, but he told us that he had his new tyres were slower than his old tyres that he had from the previous race on the Saturday, and that's why he was just nowhere. He had no grip, and he said it's just one of those things. He says it happens more than you lot. And I know the Hankook tyres aren't the best friends of the Formula E drivers, but yeah, he kind of had an excuse for that one, I could say. But yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, but this can happen again in Tokyo, for example.
Yeah.
And then it's just 6 points in the lead. Yeah, I have to say Mitch had a really bad luck this weekend. Saturday race was not good, P8.
Yep.
And Sunday, the DC issue that prevented him from starting the race.
Can you explain a little bit to our viewers about that, the DC?
Was my explanation not good enough, Jack?
Yeah, just give a bit of an explanation to what that means.
I can. The DC it's a standard component. Standard component
Yep.
that changes the voltage that's coming out of the battery for the car systems.
Okay.
And this DC-DC had a problem right before the start, and this caused a fuse in the battery to blow. So the DC-DC was no longer the problem. The problem was that there was a blown fuse in the battery,
Yep.
and this can't be switched so easily. You have to remove the battery from the car to do this, and that's not possible in the grid. Yeah, this takes 30 to 45 minutes, I think, something like that. And because of this, they even didn't try to repair the car. They said it's over.
Wow, incredible! It's such bad luck. Let's go back to the
Bad luck again.
Such bad luck. But
it's the third time in the title fight for Mitch to have that bad luck because of technical issue. Remembering Berlin when he crashed, or when Matara crashed into him at the start because he was not able to drive. Then 1 year later in London, the inverter broke on his Jaguar car 3 laps before the
end.
checkered flag. Yeah.
Yep. Thankfully, though, for Evans, he's still got time. It's not like it was the last weekend. He's still got a little bit of time. I want to go back to the race though on the Saturday, because obviously the pace from Evans this weekend was strong, right? He was quick, but obviously I questioned in the last FE bar about the race pace, and that if he was going to win, he'd need luck to go his way, and obviously that hasn't gone his way, because I just didn't think the Jaguar was quick enough over a course of an Eprix. Do you get that sense still, or do you know? I think he's quick, but I still when I look at Verline, to be honest with you, I think Mitch Evans is probably the closest one that can beat Verline at this precise moment, because I don't think Nissan have shown enough with Roland, and the Mahindras have fallen off a cliff. So I think Mitch Evans is probably Verline's title rival, but I'm not 100% sure that Jaguar can compete with the Porsche.
I'm not sure, to be honest. During the season, Mitch Evans was not fast in qualifying. That's something he told me in Monaco, for example. Mm-hmm. He was more efficient in the races. So if you take a look at his qualifying results, always in the midfield, but during the race he was able to gain many positions, and this now has changed. Now he's quite quick in qualifying. Not on Sunday, of course, but on Saturday he was. But there's a lack of pace in the race, and that's something we have already seen this season from Nick Cassidy in the Citroen car at the beginning of the season. Yeah. So I'm not sure why this happens. Why often drivers are fast in qualifying and not so fast in the race. Or vice versa.
Yeah.
But also qualifying is going to be super crucial from here on out, because the last 2 venues, Tokyo and London, they are proper street circuits. And we're not expecting to have the same style of pack racing around those 2 venues that we have had around the likes of the races like Shanghai, Madrid, Berlin, and everything like that. So it's going to be qualifying is going to be a lot more important when we come to Tokyo and in London. And so if you're not getting qualifying, then your title chances are going to be knocked severely.
Yeah, I would fully agree.
It is, but the best 2 qualifiers of the seasons are Pascal Wehrlein in P1 and Antonio Felix da Costa in P2. Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is better for Porsche or better for Jaguar. Both cars can be quick in qualifying, but unfortunately, Mitch Evans was not able to do this over the biggest part of the season. Let's say it that way.
So
the Jaguar cars can be quick on 1 lap. 1 lap pace is definitely there, but they have to put it all together to be at the front in Tokyo and in London.
Yeah. Final word then. I've got to ask you because Dan Ticktum, news kind of came out. Obviously, his relationship with Kiro at the moment is a little bit strained with the disciplinary and all that. And then it kind of came out slightly that, you know, they might be looking for a replacement for Ticktum and that his seat at the team is under serious question going into next year. What more do you know about that?
I know a bit more, but nothing I can speak about. There were some problems this season with the pace of Dan, to be honest.
Yeah.
Last season he surprised, I think, everyone. He was really, really quick. He was on the podium. He won a race in Jakarta. He was on pole in London. But for sure, this season he of course had a bit of bad luck. But he made many mistakes too. So he was quick in Monaco in qualifying, but if I recap the whole season, he was quick in qualifying in Sao Paulo. But
But he's made quite a few jewels though.
But to be honest, 19 drivers in Formula E made some duels. If you don't count Monaco, where he was absolutely not from this planet. There's not much left. There are several drivers who performed better. For example, Felipe Drugovich during the last races.
Yeah, we got to talk about Drugovich. The progression he's had is incredible. But
absolutely.
So I get that, but I think Ticktum has got enough credit in the bank to have a bit of an average season by his standards to merit his way into a Gen 4 car potentially. In my opinion, I think there's enough credit in the bank that he should have, because we have to remember this Kiro is a 4-year-old package compared to the packages that the other teams have.
It is, and Dan Ticktum is a really, really fast driver. I think that's not the point. I think the point for bigger companies, let's say it that way, is something like the 3 places grid top penalty he got because of saying some words about the race director in an inappropriate way.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. You don't give a sporting penalty. I understand the fine. The fine makes sense to me. But giving a sporting penalty for words that were said to media afterwards, that doesn't make sense with me.
No, same for me. I'm not sure what's the point.
I fully agree on that. Like, I don't understand. I know there's freedom of speech, right? But like, it was a strong opinion, right? But if he had said, because he's used a swear word, right? If he had said that it was the decision was unacceptable or was completely wrong, would he still get a free place? Because it basically means exactly the same thing as what he said, right?
No,
but it's just
because of the wording.
Just because of the word that he used, but I think that's a bit harsh. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But Tobias, thank you so much for coming on and explaining all of that. It's been absolutely a privilege having you on. Are you going, apart from London, are you not heading to Tokyo potentially, or is it just London now for you?
No, it's just London for me.
Just London for you. I'm hoping to go to Tokyo, but it's still question marks. But if not, then I will definitely see you in London.
Oh, very quickly before we let you go, Toby, you sent me a message saying that someone on German TV mentioned the fact that a British journalist now has to do an interview in Swedish with Joe Eriksson. Was that journalist? Was the person on German TV you by any chance?
I can't remember.
Brilliant.
Oh, unbelievable.
Brilliant. Cheers, Toby. Much appreciated.
I love that. Make sure you give it a like when he speaks to him in Swedish when we get the video done in London.
You're welcome, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Cheers, Toby.
Oh, what a
But-
legend. What an absolute legend is Tobias. Right, let's take a call before we get Jack Smith, because Jack Smith's going to join us in 10 minutes. We'll talk about his. So let's get a call in. Who do I want to talk to? Let's talk to Ricardo.
Let's talk to Ricardo so we can go watch the Spain-Portugal game.
The Spain-Portugal game.
It is still 0-0
It's still
at the
0-0.
moment.
Right,
we're on the verge of half.
Ricardo, give us your...
There's a little bit of an update.
Have you been watching the first half?
Ricardo, give us your impressions of the first half of the game so far.
Firstly, good evening, everyone.
Good
And
evening.
secondly, it's actually being a good fourth game once for Portugal.
Yeah. You guys have been all right so far. I've got it on
I
down here.
haven't
Just like,
seen
I'm
any
diverted.
of it. I'm hoping it goes to extra time, so we can watch
I
it.
mean, sure.
Proper end-to-end stuff. It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if it did.
Yeah, but it's neck and neck, to be honest. I couldn't give you a win at the end of the 90 minutes. So yeah,
I would
we'll
prefer
see. It's
Portugal to
finishing.
go through, right? I would prefer Portugal to go through because Spain's one of the favourites to win
Yeah,
it, and you just like
I-
knock them out.
I mean,
Saz won't appreciate that when she's on later, so maybe, but just for a non-neutral kind of thing.
yeah,
But-
exactly.
Right, let's
And
talk
I'm
Formula
more
E then.
confident now than I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk Formula E.
Let's go.
With what would you like to talk about? Because obviously, I know you're obviously the Costa fan, but the Costa's kind of had an average weekend. So what would you like to talk about?
I don't know how me and Masro jinx Edo.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, subpar weekend for Mahindra as a whole. I mean, Nick got a few top 10, sure, but Edo, it was a subpar weekend for Mortar. And
Yeah.
the whole Mahindra team, they look like the Mahindra of, I don't want to be dramatic, but like season 9? I don't know.
It wasn't a
Or
good
some
weekend
weekends
for
of
them at
last
all.
year. Yeah, but I mean, is this to tell you the form of Mahindra this season compared to the other seasons? Because we had like 2 top 10s from the Vries, and it was like P6 and P5 or whatever. And at this point last year, we would have said that it was a fairly good weekend for Mahindra.
Yeah.
And now we come to this season where we have Aero in the championship fight, and we say that it wasn't a good weekend for Mahindra, although they got 2 top 10s. So yeah, a subpar weekend for Mahindra and Aero as a whole. To be fair, I'm not surprised. I said Aero could turn things around with his recent form, but I guess Shanghai doesn't sub Edo at all. We need to see about Tokyo, because last 2 years Edo was fairly good. I remember the first race in Tokyo where he fought for the, I think he finished on the podium, but then got that penalty or disqualified in a season 10 Mahindra.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll see.
I think,
Kind of average for Mahindra. So.
I think Mahindra Pico, maybe you'd agree, they need another season of the Gen 3 Evo car, right? Because you feel like the progression that they've gone on, right, has been so good, and then they've got this stage where now they have a really good powertrain, right, and a really good car. But there's been the hiccups, right, that they've had. They've had a couple of hiccups and a couple of gremlins, and if they could sort those gremlins out, I think they'd be a championship contender for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the momentum's kind of switched. Like Mortara had that fantastic run at the start of the season, and then finally Nick's come to the fore. He had the win in Monaco, and he had a couple decent races after that in Sanya, and yeah, and then but this weekend, like, it just hasn't been the one whatsoever. But yeah, I expected a little bit more, but it seems like the luck can only be on like one side of the garage, which is a shame.
Yeah, what do you think, Ricardo?
Well done on taking down the lower third. I've
sorry,
texted
thank
you
you.
like 3 times.
I didn't see it. It's hard. Yeah, sorry. I saw your message on chat, and that was probably the best way.
Yeah.
You should have just said
Yeah.
lower third, and I would have been all right. You should have just.
Yeah, no, but I
You should've just-
texted you
you
that,
should've
and I
just-
texted you a follow up, and then I put it in chat because I gave up.
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't looking at my phone. I don't really look at my phone during these shows.
You usually do.
What was I going to say? Sometimes, but anyway. What did you think, Ricardo? Then, like in terms of Mahindra and their pace, they probably do need another season of Gen 3, but they're going into Gen 4, and there's a lot of question marks going into Gen 4 and their readiness.
Yeah, but I think every top team this season has had some kind of those weekends. I mean, Jaguar don't come out of Shanghai Epi like they thought they would be. So, and Porsche, although they've been pretty consistent the whole season, I think there was in Monaco, for example, they had a massive blip where Pascal went from the lead of the championship to P4. And I mean, there's still 4 races to go. There's still like how many points? Could be 28, 56, 128 points, I think. So yeah, I think everything's still in place. So I wouldn't count out Mahindra yet. We need to see how they perform at Tokyo, and then in London, I expect Mahindra to just be quick. Mahindra and Jaguar particularly. So I mean, those 3 teams actually come to London as equally matched in terms of car performance, and if you look at the results historically, they've been good at London, all of them.
Yeah, they did.
So
and they did famously win with Alex Lynn in London, didn't they? For I can't remember what season was it. Season 7 or season 8?
Yeah, season 7, race 2.
Yes.
7.
Because it was the year that everyone won.
Yeah, the year.
Exactly. Norman Nato won the race.
What a legend! No bad mouthing Norman Nato here. What a legend!
By the way, talking about legends. Firstly, shout out to Ericsson, and secondly, Pico, how's your Swedish?
So I'm on a 94-day Duolingo streak. That is because I thought, I was anticipating it. I'm gonna have to properly learn it. I've got a mate who's Swedish, and so I'm gonna probably message him some point this week. Go, look, I need some
tutoring. Let's talk about Ericsson, because wow, I criticised the appointment of Joel Ericsson. I know it was kind of a safe bet, didn't really get me off my seat. It didn't make me excited.
I was super excited till I made that bet.
Yeah. He didn't get me off my seat, and I just didn't think he'd do much. And I know the Envision at this precise moment hasn't been the strongest of car. But that's what I like about Formula E, is that all of a sudden, in a specific moment, a driver, a bit like how the Grassi did as well this weekend, right, you could just turn it on, and bish bash bosh, you've got a great result. And if it wasn't for the full course yellow, he wins the race, right? So, and no one would have guessed that. So it just shows you that the drivers that are in Formula E, even the midfield ones, the ones that get a little bit lost, like your Norman Natos, on their day they can be brilliant, and in this formula you can win.
Yeah, and I mean, I was rooting for Ericsson actually. Like you said, the full course yellow shafted his possibilities of the win, because at the end I don't know where his pace has gone, because I think he was in equal terms with Jev, and had no pace at all to keep up with Jev and Grassi at the end. Of course, Grassi had the attack mode, but with Jev they were a toe-to-toe. So yeah, I mean, good weekend for Ericsson, and I mean, I kinda see not as much of highs as Shanghai for Ericsson, but he has had a good performance here and there this season. It's not like he was so bad like, I don't know, Giovinazzi in 2022, for example.
Yeah,
Ericsson has been a bit under the radar, and I think next season could be a key season for Ericsson if he desires to stay within the Formula E paradigm and Formula E championship, especially with a seat now available at Jaguar. I'm not saying Ericsson could be on the way for Jaguar. There's a long shout, but from next year onwards, good things could come to Ericsson. So
100%, especially if they got the car, and obviously Jaguar confirmed that Envision are their customer team for Gen 4. So, fingers crossed for Envision that they could be back on form. But Ricardo, we are out of time because it is 9 o'clock. We're going to take a small break as we get Jack Smith from Motorsport Week on. But thank you so much for coming on, and you can enjoy watching the rest of your round of 16.
For sure. Let's go Portugal.
Let's
Bye-bye.
go Portugal. Up the Ronaldo.
Up the Ronaldo.
See you later.
See you later.
Right, we are going to take a small hydration break. Because we need to take a hydration break. And we'll be speaking to Jack Smith from Motorsport Week after this short break. See you in a second. One. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and joining us for the first time in a long time is now the editor, because he wasn't the editor at the time, I don't think, but the editor of Motorsport Week, Jack Smith. Hello, Jack. How are we? The three Jacks. We're back together again.
This is going to be a nightmare.
The Holy Trinity is back, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to stay.
How many Jacks does it take to change a light bulb?
Too many. Don't know if we could all do it, to be fair. Don't know if we could do it. We might have to get another one.
I think we'd all kind of micromanage each other.
Yeah.
I feel like that. Yeah, that's our vibe.
I'm the shortest, therefore I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at something.
No. What it is that JOS, you go on my back, and then Gio, you go on.
I'm at the top.
JOS's back, and then we can reach the light bulb from there.
Yeah, we'll be changing the garage light bulbs in no second, whatever it is. Anyway, right, let's talk Formula E, Mr. Smith, because I know you were at the lovely British Grand Prix over the weekend, but I know you've caught up a little bit with the Formula E. I want to start with Pascal Wehrlein, because we haven't spoken about him too much, and I think it's worth a mention because what a drive he's had, right? I know he's had a little bit of bad luck throughout the season, but at this precise moment, I just think the way, when he's on form, the way he's driving is second to none. I think, honestly, I said this to Tobias, I think he's driving better than when he won the Season 10 championship.
I would agree with that. And having, when I spoke to him in Monaco, it felt like I just felt he was so laser focused about trying to get that championship back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you're right. He's just, he's one of the he's really one of those drivers that he does his job so well, but he does it in such a quiet way. Sometimes it goes under the radar.
Yeah.
And I love that about him, because it's just such a sort of calm, quiet consistency you get out of him. And consistency is what you need. You can get drivers that can win a ton of races, don't end up winning the championship. And Pascal is just showing that he really has what it takes to be only the second, isn't it, double champion.
Yeah.
I think that I wasn't surprised when he won, because I know he's been good around Shanghai before, so, and I knew it would probably suit him and the car well, so I wasn't surprised. But yeah, I think that he's got a bit of momentum now, as we get towards the business end of everything.
Yeah, and then obviously the shock of the story was Lola, right? And Lucas de Grassi. I don't think anyone saw that coming at all. What was your, when you found out that de Grassi had won this race, what was your initial reactions?
I was so pleased, because it's about as fairy tale as you can get. The guy says he's going to retire, and there's only a couple of weekends to go, so the likelihood is he's not going to win another one. And for him to get the job done like that was just insane. And I'm so pleased for him, obviously, but I'm so pleased for Lola as well, because they came in at a really difficult time where they decided to enter during Gen 3, so they were kind of immediately on the back foot. They've been consistently, I feel, punching above their weight when it comes to certain things. Like, they do score points, they do try their best. I like the way they sometimes do really bold strategies to try and get results. And I was just really pleased that, all the hard work that those guys put in from literally top to bottom in that team, they've got something to celebrate. I know obviously Nico's got that great podium in Miami last year, but
yes,
this of course just tops that, tenfold, and I'm just so pleased that he was able to deliver that, not just for himself but for the team. They're a great bunch of people, and I'm so pleased that they've managed to sort of spring this. I was trying to go through my memories and see if I predicted this or not. If I have, I really hope that I've probably got myself with a couple of extra points on the board, but I don't think I did.
Yeah, I think that's one that if anyone wrote that down in Valencia, then like I was saying earlier, if anyone wrote that down in Valencia, they should get double points for that, because that's like so insane a prediction. But I'm trying to think of what
my
mine
predictions
are.
are doing quite well at the minute.
Definitely not one of them.
I've forgotten one of them, but I know 3 have come in of mine, which I'm.
I'd say you've done pretty well then.
That's the thing. I forget mine.
Actually,
I remember one of them, but the thing is, I know that you had to send me yours, Jack, because you disappeared a day early.
I did.
And so I just wrote yours down and I whacked it in. So I could
go
look
back.
it up if I really, really wanted to, but I'm not, because
one I know is still pending. Like, it could still happen because it's one of those.
Yeah.
They won't do it,
Yeah.
or they will do it for the season. So
the one that I said, and I mean, like, it could happen, but it's highly unlikely now.
Yeah. I can't remember. Anyway, so Jack Smith, let's talk a little bit broader in terms of Formula E and maybe next season, and what we saw in Shanghai with the wet tires. Obviously, we're getting the monsoon tires and things like that. How when you've now looked at the Gen 4 and you've had a chance to digest all the rules and everything that's coming, how, one, excited are you, and two, how do you think it will shape up and change the racing style of what we've come to know about Formula E?
It's so hard, isn't it, to speculate until you actually see the whole thing in reality. That's the problem, but that's also the excitement of it. I really like the sporting format. I think that, you know, it brings something new, and I'm glad that, you know, they thought or tried to give some thought about how to really sell this car.
Yeah.
Because the thing about the car is, you know, is that when David Coulthard gave it the demo run in Monaco, people said to me that hadn't been in Paul Ricard, what should we expect? I said, I don't think you should expect much, because it's a demo run in Monaco.
Yeah.
Looked out the window at Rascat and I could just see straight away how different the car was.
Yeah.
And that was really when the excitement set in. So I'm glad that the sporting format is going to hopefully give this car a chance to really sort of be put before the fans to its sort of full potential. You know, I think the whole tyre situation is you know, a godsend. Thankfully, we will hopefully not have to worry so much about the weather, and you know, we won't have to be quite so tense about it when we head to a weekend and then we go on our phones and look at the weather apps and see it's all looking pretty bad. And I think, you know, generally speaking, the calendar is also, I would say, about 90% there. I'm questionable about some of it. Particularly going back to Sanya, I think they've got to really look at how they can do something about that. But I think generally the circuits that they picked are good. I think, you know, given that Cote has more configuration than I think people realise, that probably will also be decent. Hopefully Miami will be able to actually get a longer version, because I know the drivers were pretty miffed about that this year, actually.
Yeah.
And I like the structure of the calendar, and I like the circuits they're going to. You know, I think that infrastructure-wise, I'm a little bit worried about brands, but I think from a racing point of view, purely, it's about the best they could do, and I think that this car has the potential to, you know, put a really good show on. I think the excitement that's being ramped up about Gen 4 is, I don't want to sound like I'm being cynical, because I'm not, but I do feel like maybe it's being ramped up a little bit too much. I think it's going to be a slow burner, but it's going to be, by the end of the season, I expect Formula E to have a lot bigger fan base than it has right now.
I think we're all hoping that. I think we're all hoping that, touch wood, and then hopefully we'll have like thousands of callers on the FE bar. I know that we've got lovely callers already, but who knows? Can you imagine just the pile up to get on the show? Let's talk drivers though, because obviously there was a little bit of rumours this weekend about Dan Ticktum not being kept on at Kiro, but then there was also a little bit of news about Mahindra, and that their Gen 4 project has taken a little bit of a you know, they've had a bit of a problems. And obviously Nick De Vries and Eduardo Mortara are out of contract with Mahindra at the end of this season. You know, Dan could be looking for a new seat. I'm not saying that those two marry up, but What are your rumblings in terms of drivers and you know, and the changes that we might see? Because sooner or later we'll start finding out maybe what's going to happen.
I'm a bit fearful for Dan, I have to say. Again, I think that is something that is also a bit misplaced because, you know, Formula E, the nature of the beast that is Formula E is that it's a championship where sometimes results don't reflect performances. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Dan's had a good or a better season than he did last year, but I think it would be very churlish to think that he's had a bad enough season for them not to keep him on.
Yeah, I agree.
The fact that you get pole position 2 days in a row in Monaco is not a coincidence and it's not a fluke. You know, that is the sign of someone who is top level in this championship. And I don't want to also be, you know, I don't want people to think that I'm kind of dumping on Kieran, but, you know, there have been races where the team strategy have been wrong and that's cost him.
Yeah.
Pepe has been great.
Pepe's had a great season.
Pepe has had a fantastic season, and I'm not taking anything away from him at all, but I think that he's had a little bit more luck than Dan.
Yeah.
And I think that if Kiro were to let Dan go, I think that there should be plenty of teams, well, not plenty, but, you know, there should be a smattering out there that would give him serious consideration because, you know, Kiro have utilised him from a PR comms point of view. They've allowed him to be himself, and that's been good for him, and it's been good for the championship as well.
Yep.
But I know also that he is committed enough an individual to be part of a bigger brand, part of a team, where he can actually do the things that they want. If they want him to be the corporate figure as well as the racing driver, I know he can do that. As long as they give him that leeway to be himself, you know, he'll be golden. With you know, Mahindra, I mean, to be honest, Nick and Edo have been pretty good. I think, you know, Nick had a bit of a dodgy start to the season. I would say there was, you know, I think the gripes people had about him making contact with them and whatnot in the first few races, I mean, that's pretty justified. But, you know, his Monaco win was pretty sensational, and we know what a talent he is. And Edo's been one of those a little bit like a Loki Pascal. We've gone about his business and done quite well, and he's got himself relatively high up in the standings. You know, I think, to be honest, the driver market is one of those. I don't think it's going to be quite as fractious as last season, where it literally was just going to take one domino to fall and so many were going to go over.
Yeah.
But there's so many things you can't rule out, you know, and that's you know, I hope that Nick, I think, you know, being an ex-champion, I think he should be a driver that deserves a place in the championship. I think that he's, you know, proved himself just enough now.
I think Mahindra won both of them, but it's whether or not both of them want to stay there because are they going back to square one? That's the question with Mahindra at this precise moment. Are they going to be back at the back of the field again because it all started a little bit too late?
I was concerned when the three of us, plus many others, of course, rocked up at Paul Ricard and all they had was a show car. I was a bit concerned about that.
But it's better than Nissan. Nissan had nothing.
That is very, very true. You know, it's that I think is probably the big wider concern about Gen 4 is just how some manufacturers seem to have got their head in the game a little bit more, or quite a lot more than some of the others. You know, I hope Mahindra can pull something out of the bag. I think they really deserve it. Again, they're another team that, you know, they work incredibly hard. They've got such a great bunch of people. Fred is an amazing team principal, and they've got two very, very, very competent drivers who can pull things out of the bag when the situation arises. If it, you know, takes them a season, then so be it. You know, we've seen that they caught up by the end of Gen 3, so I would fully expect them, if they have a bit of a dodgy first season, then, you know, hopefully the second season 14, will be one where they can sort of get themselves back on track again.
Yeah, but the problem is it'll be hardware, won't it? I don't know if the hardware's going to, the 2-year cycle is going to remain, because if that is the case, then there might be a little bit of question marks around that. But it's definitely interesting because both of them are out of contract effectively. But that's the only way I think Dan Tickton, because I think Kiro are nuts. I think they're crazy to get rid of Dan Tickton. I really do. I don't know who's going to be better going into that seat. I just think it's crazy, and who knows? We don't even know if they're going to have a Porsche powertrain, and Dan knows.
Kiro will have a Porsche powertrain.
It hasn't been confirmed, right?
Well, but it's common knowledge. It wasn't as common. They are getting.
It wasn't as common.
No. They are getting a Porsche powertrain.
Right,
that is.
You're fairly certain.
I think it's fairly certain. I think
it's like 99.9% certain they're getting a Porsche powertrain.
When I was anyway,
but otherwise, Cupra leave. That's not happening.
Going back to my point, though, Dan was aware that this seat is going to be, drivers will want this seat, because if they do have that Porsche powertrain, they know it's going to be a strong car, right, going into Gen 4. So, and Dan's been wanting, this top team, and he kept saying it, and it was like, mate, like, you could end up in a top team just by staying where you are with the powertrain that you've got. So, part of me was like, just be quiet in a sense, because what you're moaning about might come true in your own team, in your own backyard, very, very soon. But yeah, I do think it's a crazy decision if they do get rid of him, because I think they'll, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's probably, as they say, better to know the devil that you own, or know the devil that you know, than get someone else, whatever the saying is.
There's a quote in there.
There's a quote in there. The devil
we don't know where it is. It's all the right words, not necessarily in the right order.
There was a quote in there, and there was also a Kylie Minogue song in there as well.
Yeah.
The thing about the Formula E drive market is that it's always been pretty competitive, or certainly in the last couple of years. But I think Gen 4 again is doing a lot of not heavy lifting, but it's selling itself to the wider audience, I think, in a lot of ways, by default of the fact that there are a lot of drivers out there that I know of that are very, very keen to get a seat. There are a good few drivers that are either have recently been in F2 or are in F2 right now, and they are very, very keen to look at Formula E as a viable career option. And I think that's always been the case, particularly in this sort of second half of Gen 3. But now, that's even more pronounced. And I think that, Dan has to be careful on that front as well, because, look at what's happened this season. He's had a teammate who has come in, he's come in, I think, with a bit of Red Bull back in. He supposedly had the contract brokered by, Fernando Alonso's management, supposedly. Yeah. And that shows that Formula E is something that is, for a lot of these drivers that, are victims of the competitive Formula 1 driver market, they then come into Formula E and then they actually end up showing how talented they are. Yeah. Pepe's a good example. Zane's a good example. It's just for Zane, most of the time he's not had the car to really show it, but I think he's been a low-key star in the 2 seasons he's been in Formula E.
And that's one of the things that, when you look at it, I think Zane's been all right, but with Grassi leaving, is Zane ready to lead that team? Or do you get an experienced head from elsewhere in the paddock? Because from what I've heard, they're looking at a rookie to go alongside.
That's interesting. Because
I would have thought get an experienced head, so I think Dan Tickton fits that bill sort of all right.
I know that he was looked at by them, or I was certainly of the impression that they were looking at Dan before when they first came in, and I think if they had known how Dan was going to progress once he was able to prove himself in Kiro, rather than just languishing at the back in the Neo or the ERT, they might have gone for it. But but I think Lola, from what I've heard, Lola are also eyeing up some actually pretty, some bigger names that are more established. But you're right. I think that Zayn, is he at that level yet? I think he got there. Lucas was, has been very complimentary about Zayn. Was pretty open about the fact that a lot of his first season that he was unable to quite grasp some elements of it because it's a completely different championship to what he was used to.
Yeah.
But he has picked up the fundamentals. But yeah, I think you're right. They need probably a very experienced driver or a somewhat experienced driver to partner him. Because as that team grows, they need someone, they need someone to take that mantle that Lucas has held for a long time. But if Kiro let Dan go, they have to be careful as well because they will want someone with experience. Dan has shown that he's got, the experience that Dan has got. He's been able to show that actually he was able to put that to good use last season when he actually, for once, had a half decent car.
Yeah.
And I fully back him that if he stays or wherever he could end up, I think he will make a very good job of where he goes. I know he's not, he didn't win himself a lot of friends with the incident with Da Costa of Monaco and things like that. But generally, I think he's actually far more respected than a lot of the wider motorsport fan base realise. Yeah. And I think that if that narrative was changed, then you'd probably you'd have more confidence in him getting a drive because I think he deserves it. As I say earlier, did he have as good a season this season compared to last? Probably not. But does he merit where he is in the championship? No. Because he's been punted off a few times. He'd had strategies go wrong that were through no fault of his own. He could be a lot higher up.
No, for sure.
So I think Dan Tickton is not a risk.
No.
In any way, shape, or form. If you take him on, I think you get someone who's proven.
Yeah, fully agree. Boys, just to end, because we've got a lot of callers now that we got to get through. Emmanuel in chat has said, who is the GOAT of Formula E? So he's given us a couple of options. He said Grassi, Jeb, Buemi, or any other driver. In one word, who do you think is your greatest of all time driver?
Sakon Yamamoto.
Okay, what a legend.
No. I think the only driver to crash 5 times in a weekend or something like that from Grassi season 1. No, I think personally for me, I think Lucas is Mr. Formula E. I mean, he was there with a gag before the series even started. So yeah, for me, Lucas is Mr. Formula E.
Jack, who are you going with?
I'd say it's close between Lucas and Jeff. No offense to Sebastian at all, because again he's an absolute stalwart of the championship, and I think that he's maybe not disrespected, but he's sometimes I think maybe he doesn't get quite the respect he does deserve. But I would say Lucas, just for the fact that to the same reasons that Pico just said, it's not just it's all the wider stuff. The fact that he actually was, I think, one of, if not the only driver that drove quote unquote Gen Zero. He has been, not only has he been a great champion on and off the track for the sport, but he's also just been someone who just he's stuck it out. He's not had good seasons in the last few years by default of the machinery he's had, but he has been the biggest advocate of the championship. And Formula E has needed all the help it could get in terms of it getting its legs, getting itself more fans, getting a bigger audience in, and I think Lucas has been so pivotal in getting that. So I think for that reason alone, as well as what he has achieved on the track, then yeah, I think he has to be.
All right, Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure. Me?
No, go on quickly.
Sebastian Buemi. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. We've covered all bases. Jack, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so great to be back on, and hopefully I'll be back on soon.
So, right, see you later.
See you in London.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. That was Jack Smith there from Motorsport Week. Right, we're going to pound through your calls right now. Mazrul Khan is back, so I was going to go to him, and then we're going to go to Alex next, who's a new caller. Mazrul Khan, we're going to probably rattle these in about 5-6 minutes each. Hello, my friend. How are we? And your prediction for Mortara? Terrible, mate. Terrible.
Hijinks Mortara. 3 predictions from my bingo card came true this week. And
one of them's Ericsson podium. We've
you remember?
Yeah.
You remember Ericsson?
I've been reminded of it a little bit, if I'm completely honest, Missouri.
Okay. Di Grassi gets a top 5 finish in a race. Check.
Yeah.
Felipe Drogovic gets a pole. Check. That's according to my bingo card. You can look it up later. I uploaded the photo.
I've just seen it on screen.
Okay. I can explain what a DC-DC inverter is. Hello?
Yeah, but Tobias explained it to us, so we're okay.
No. Like, I think the whole DC-DC inverter, to like properly explain what it means, is it's a device that converts the direct current to a voltage level.
Yeah.
So if it is used to increase voltage level, we call that boosting in engineering, in electrical engineering. And if it's used to decrease the voltage level, that's called buck. So there are types, and in a DC-DC inverter is a type of a converter that's used for what we call bucking or boosting, or we don't say bucking, we say buck. So to increase the voltage level from low to high means to boost, and to decrease the voltage level from high to low means to buck. So when Tobias was like explaining what was the technical issue, I mean, Jaguar doesn't explain what their technical issues really are. Yeah. Like when a team faces a issue, they say it on media, it's a technical issue. But basically, what they mean by technical issue, I don't know what was the exact technical issue that Tobias said. He said that there was a fuse. Was it on the battery or was it on the device?
It could be either or, to be honest with you. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Cognitive overload has hit me hard.
It's difficult to. Teams do not like to expose what their issues are technically. They will just say it's a technical issue on media. But basically, if the car was allowed to continue, let's say for argument's sake, Evans was allowed to drive.
Yeah.
Because there was a fuse, that means there's no voltage regulation, and which no boosting, no buck. That means no regulation of the voltage levels. If that were the case and Evans were allowed to drive, his car would have been penalized for overpower.
Yeah. So he would have gone through the 300 and then picked up a penalty for that.
Yeah, exactly. It would have gone through a drive-through penalty or a 5. Like I remember Oliver Rowland back in season 11 of the opening race at Sao Paulo. He was leading the race, and then his car was penalized for overpowering. I remember that.
So let's talk about the race itself. Like the Lola win or Pascal Wehrlein. Like how impressed were you with what we saw over the weekend in Shanghai?
It was worth my morning, I would say. I was like, Di Grassi made my day as well as Ericsson. I can't believe that the strategy they took was that Di Grassi took a dry tire condition as well as Verne. Like if you remember, before the race there was a there was a clip that showed that Verne approached Di Grassi.
Yeah.
Both were discussing, hey, what's on your radar, and I don't know, like, you think it's gonna rain? And they were like, no. I'm like, all right, you know what, let's gamble with dry tires. I think Verne went with all pure dry tires, and Di Grassi went with a 50-50, like a half dry kind of like tire, and that helped him get the pace incredibly, even with an underpowered Lola car. That gave him the pace ahead of all the other powertrains, because the track was initially wet, but by lap 19 or 20 the track was well drying up. That's why, and I think Envision Racing had their tire pressures nailed. Of course they didn't mention what the PSI unit was of their tire pressures, because I don't think a team will do that. So it was that aspect. So I think great on for Ericsson. I think Ericsson was just unlucky not to get the win within the final 2 laps. I've rewatched that clip like a dozen times now. And I have to say, from an analytical perspective, that was, I would say it was more of a half calculated gamble. I won't say
Yeah.
it was a full on gamble. That's like my insight.
No, yeah, honestly, as I said, I thought they had a great race, and Lola, fair play to Lucas. He did extremely, extremely well. Anything else we want to say before we let you go?
Yeah, I think I don't have anything much to say now. But yeah, I pray and hope Dan Tickton gets a race seat next season. I don't like the rumors, Kiro. I mean, I never understood Kiro with their decision making at times. Like, people say Jaguar are a hot mess, but to me, it sometimes feels like it's Kiro.
Yeah, their social media doesn't help them sometimes. I don't really understand what goes on with their social media, which kind of feels like it fits the Dan Tickton way, their social media. But
yeah, but it's just
it's like
we don't know.
They're trying to be grown up with Dan, but they're not really grown up with themselves.
Exactly, that's the very sad element behind it. Okay,
Is
I
this your
think
new mantra, Jack? As you turn 31, you're now an adult. Like you just like, yeah, you're locked in. And you're now an adult, Jack. And,
What do you
like,
mean? What do you
us, like,
mean?
young 31 is when you become an adult.
Well, why? Well, what have I done differently?
No. It's just that you're saying that, oh, they need to be all grown up and everything, and the fact that you've just turned
Well, it's-
31, like
Thanks.
which means that you're an adult now.
Yeah, I am an adult. Do adult things.
Unlike us children, 28 next month.
all right.
But yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
So I think I know there are other people waiting in the room. So I think that was my short insight. I wanted to explain what the DC-DC inverter is.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens in Tokyo. I don't want to make any bold predictions now, because every time I do, I think that driver suffers.
I think that's fair.
You gotta stop predicting, mate. Gotta stop it. The drivers, they're gonna start knowing about you.
To be fair,
Right.
I mean, like, I'd say just stop doing race predictions, because in terms of like your season-long predictions, you're getting a few of them kind of bang on now. You've got 3 more from this weekend on your bingo card.
How many more? Before we let you go, how many more have you got left?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I got 13 of the 20 predictions remaining. 7 of them I've ticked off.
That's not bad.
Wait, you've ticked off. I thought you've ticked off way more than that. So you still got 13 to do. That's
Yeah, I mean, those were very tough predictions. Like, for example, Barnard will win a race. I don't know. Ericsson outscores Buemi in the season. There are some end of season bingo cards.
There's quite a few that
end of the season.
Mazra, we will come back to them. All right. Thank you so much for Thank you so much for waiting, and thank you so much for coming on.
Welcome, my pleasure. See you soon.
See you later. Right, let's get Alex in, because Alex is a new first-time caller. Alex, hello. Oh, he's not.
Doesn't want to join yet.
One more time.
Oh.
We'll give him a one more time. If he doesn't, we'll go to Luti. Sometimes it happens. It happens with Saz. Saz was in chat earlier, but whoever or not Saz will come back is a different thing. It was the same with what was it, Mang earlier? Just first time callers, just maybe listen to us, dip their feet in the water, and then maybe we'll hear from them. Hello, Alex. How are we?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
How are you?
We're very good. Thank you very much. Welcome to the FE Bar. It's your first time.
Thank you very much.
We're very happy to have you on. What would you like to talk about?
Well, I'd really like to talk about the championship.
Yep. Good place to start.
Because I think it's a really interesting fight, for the win.
Who do you think is going to do it?
Well, I have zero confidence on Evans because I was a former Jaguar fan and I have very bad experience. I think Verlaine's going to do it. He has the advantage.
I think Verlaine is the favourite for sure.
And I think London has very good memories for him.
Yeah, whereas Evans hasn't had much luck in London. But maybe, though, third time lucky, because he's had bad luck twice. Could be third time lucky though for Mitch. That's the only twisting it on the other side. I know you said in chat you're a big Cassidy fan. What have you made of Cassidy's season? Going to Citroën, obviously he's picked up a win. And
I'm going to be
podiums.
very honest with you.
Go on.
I thought Cassidy was going to win the title after Mexico.
I'll be honest. I said that as well. I genuinely said that Cass needs to be
he was the driver with the better form.
I still think he's the best driver on the grid, but it just shows you the car is just not quite there yet.
He'd had a podium in his first race. He had a win in his second race, and he was basically new on the block in the Stellantis camp. Like I thought, oh wow, you need to really consider him, but his form since then has just been shocking.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone that way.
For me,
Cassidy
is the best Gen 3 rider of all. The only thing that
I think Pascal Wehrlein at the moment is pushing that, but yeah, I would agree.
Well, yeah, but Cassidy, like, I think he's the most F1 driver with most wins in the Gen 3 era.
Yeah, he's done incredibly well as Nick Cassidy. Like, he is just, as I said, for me, I think he's one of the best drivers on the grid. But I think that move was all geared for next season, right? With the Citroën, and he said that to us in pre-season that it was all about next year. You know, making sure that they're ready for Gen 4. So, are you excited to see what he could potentially do next season with Citroën?
Well, I'm scared and at the same time terrified, because if he isn't accustomed to that car, it could happen like Sam Bird with the Gen 3.
Yeah. No, for sure. And also, you know, he might have moved to Citroën thinking that he's going to build this team, right? Build this race, and it doesn't work. You know, like, it's like... You know, like Aston Martin, for example, they they get Adrian Newey thinking they're going to have the great driver, a great team, build a great car. Sorry, and you got Adrian Newey, you think your problems are solved, and then you realise you've got 1,000 more problems. So, as I said, sometimes it doesn't always work out, but for you, hopefully, for Cassidy. It does. Right, should we do, very quickly, because we haven't had a score update. Are you watching the Spain-Portugal game, Alex?
Yeah, they're still 0-0.
Still 0-0. Give us an update. What do you think is going to happen in the game?
I hardly believe they're going to go to penalties.
You think it's going to go to penalties?
They're basically defending.
It's feeling like this game. It's feeling like that, yeah.
What minute are we in now? Because it's 9:42.
We're up to 80th minute.
80 minute. Well, we've got to get this show done by 10 so we can all go and watch extra time. Unless there's a Cristiano Ronaldo goal, or who could score for Spain?
Yamal could score.
Oyarzabal.
Oh yeah.
Mikel Oyarzabal.
Yep, he could score as well.
To be fair, he did have a great free kick outside the box a couple of minutes ago. So
there we go. Yeah. There's your World Cup update, brought to you by Hydration Breaks. Make sure you drink your water.
Damn hydration breaks. I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so what do you think now happens? So you've gone for Wehrlein. Do you think but we could see some crazy races in Tokyo, and obviously it's a night race as well, so you know, and it's crazy to think that that's round the corner now. Do you expect any surprises before we let you go, or do you think, you know, from you, this is Wehrlein's championship?
Well, maybe Roland, that last year did pretty good on Tokyo, could like bounce off again and take some points, but I think if Wehrlein is the leader after Tokyo, he would have like 70% of the championship done.
It'd be good going into London, which has been pretty much a pause track for a while. Alex, it's a shame we're a bit short on time today, but thank you so much for coming on. It means you can
go and watch the rest of the football.
It means you can go and watch the rest of the football now in peace, and we'll hopefully get you on another FE bar in the future.
I'll see you in Tokyo. So
see you in Tokyo.
Bye.
Right, bye.
Cheers, Alex.
Right, Luty is in. He's not in. He is in. Luty, how are we? Hopefully you can hear us.
Also, some fantastic news from Luty today. He's got a refund. So
what did he get a refund on, Luty? Explain.
I
haven't seen. I'm so busy.
Yeah, good evening.
Evening.
For the apartment in Nice that we had that didn't exist, and then we had to get somewhere else, and
God,
then
it's taken that
couldn't
long.
get in,
To
and
be
then we
fair,
had a hotel and stuff like that.
I
So it's
haven't
been
got
2
my
months, but
I haven't got my refund over from British Airways yet either. But
yeah.
so there you go.
Call them.
I do. I need to call. I just don't have
Yeah.
time. That's my problem. I did try to use the 24/7
Yeah.
bot
Oh.
service, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, AI bots are terrible. It's
Yeah.
so useless. But
so I do need to change
yeah,
that up.
so
My new work, when you call
Yeah.
it, it's like it's got an AI like helpline, like it asks you who you say, like who you want, and then it connects you through.
Is this
Sorry.
anyway? Well, I'll talk about that later. I'm very interested in
Yeah.
your new job.
Yeah.
Luti, then Formula E Shanghai. What was your views? And we could talk Dan Ticktum as well.
yeah, yeah.
Are you
was,
worried? Are you worried about Dan?
Yeah, I think so. Because let's be real, it's not looking great for how it's going with Kiro so far this whole year, basically, on how the dynamic is. So,
Because as I said,
to be fair,
I honestly think it's crazy that Kiro would even think about replacing him. Because, like, for me, I think his pace has been there. He might have been a bit unlucky, not had some of the best races, but you're allowed a bad season, right? You're allowed a season. I think he's got enough credit in the bank to allow, and what he did last year for that team, I thought was incredible. And obviously Monaco again, so I know it's one specific track and you can't turn up for one specific track every season, but that shows you that there's pace in the car, and I think he's made enough jewels, right, to warrant, you know, another crack at it, especially at Gen 4.
Yeah, and also, like, there are jewels. Monaco was brilliant, 2 in a row.
Yep.
But in general speaking, as you said, it's an old powertrain. It's not the newest techniques they have. And I don't know the current stats, but I think the weekend after Monaco, he was like the 4th best qualifier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the speed is there. So, like, driving wise, it should not really be an issue. Also, yeah, I think after Monaco, the frustrations are pretty normal after what happened there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really get it. But to be fair, if I see basically after last year already, after Alex Yu left, it's just like it's different. It feels disconnected, and the team also.
It does feel like Russell O'Hagan, not like saying, but it does feel like from the outside that he's running it differently. Maybe not the social media side of it, but in terms of the actual team, it does feel like there's a different dynamic to it.
Yeah, if you talk about hypercritical things, being rebellious in social media, but wanting your drivers to shut up basically everywhere else. So, yeah, it feels a bit weird. And also, if you look at like the penalties this year, Monaco was of course pretty hefty penalty for what it was. It is a bit weird, and the team says they don't agree with it, but they don't actually protest anything. Last year they had a penalty in London. Team says they don't agree with it. They don't protest anything. They had a penalty here, which was fairly, how would you say that nicely? Thinking of a good word. Debatable penalty maybe.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything with it. So yeah, can't use the word team, but it doesn't really feel like there is anyone really doing anything from that point.
Do you think Pepe Marti, being as strong as he has been, and has been a strong season, has put Dan, has made those question marks on Dan a bit more stronger?
I think Pepe is doing a good job, but also qualifying wise, totally not a good job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like I don't know. Like they had like in Mexico, there was like the comment on the driving standards and the stewarding of it, which clearly was shared between all the drivers because the letter was sent to the FIA later. Yet the team was up in arms about it a bit after he said that. Then the letter happened. Then the teams were mad again. Then Pepe instantly took all his words back and said he was pressured into signing the letter, basically.
Yeah.
So to me, that just shows that Kiro was not happy with that, because otherwise, why the hell would you do that? So yeah, I find it the dynamic a bit weird with Kiro.
Because right, let's circle it back to Dan, and let's just get your final thoughts on this. In terms
I do
of,
just want to throw in very quickly. Dan was one of the key people in bringing Kiro to Formula E. So I just find that super interesting. The fact that like he might be on his way out, not in a not very nice like departure, considering he was the one that brought them in.
What I want to say, Pico, you can add in on this, but we'll get Luti's versions first, right? Okay, so what I wanted to say was he gets the disciplinary, right? Does Dan, right? And you know he does what he did in Monaco, right, where he messes up his driver room, he doesn't attend the media session, right? And then he goes to Sanya's fairly fine. No problems, but we go to Shanghai and he does use a swear word, and I do feel for him here because I don't think he's thinking he's getting a sporting penalty by.
He shouldn't be getting a sporting penalty.
But by getting, and I agree with this. He probably
should fine him.
Yeah, but for using a swear word against the race director, and part of me feels right that. Do you think that maybe he should, like, at this point, if he wants his seat badly for next season, that he's just got to be media savvy. He's just got to say the right things, do the right things, get to the end of the season and get that contract. And he just seems to always be in the news, and for that. And do you think that's where he has to learn? He has to get that right between now and London and these last 4 races. He's got to be basically on his best behaviour and prove that. And basically not be Dan Ticktum. I'm it's horrible to say that, but basically you've got to be what he said. And he told me in Berlin that he would, if it meant that to get a top drive or to get a seat, that he had to cut all social media, do what he needed to do. But he's got to prove it now.
Bit like Sandy in Greece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't think there was anything wrong with what he said. Basically, if I'm really honest. He said they jumped the gun in different words.
Yeah.
I don't think that they used like 2.5 pages to turn it into a swear word, and they actually came to the conclusion that they thought it was a slur.
Yeah.
Mental gymnastics for that one, to be fair.
Like, if you say a slur, which is a derogatory term against certain people. Oh, sorry.
Has there been a goal?
I'm going to have to stop right there.
Has there been a goal?
We've just gone into the into additional time here, and Spain have scored a goal.
Oh.
We are 1-0 up. Portugal, as it stands, have 6 minutes to turn it around in the
otherwise no extra
World
time.
Cup. Whoa, interesting. Sorry. I forgot where I was.
Well, there you go. Interruptions brought to you by hydration breaks. But yeah, I just, part of me is like, just to end this, like, I like Dan. I know you're a big Dan fan. I wanted him from Monaco onwards, basically, after the whole debacle, to just get his head down, drive as best that he possibly can, turn up to the media events, say the right things, do the right things for the team.
He should not say anything.
Yeah, and just
be on his
that's
best basically behavior. What you need. Yeah, but the thing is, you can rather not say anything. Why would you say anything to a journalist at this point?
No, I fully get that.
It's but it's like you get a sporting penalty for saying a very normal British saying.
Yeah, but
You get
it's
a
a very
sporting
normal
penalty
break
for
save.
that. Like I
Yeah,
literally
and that's fine.
like
I
no, it's not
The-
fine because they give a penalty
no,
for
no,
it.
no, 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 no. Yeah, no.
It's
Saying the normal
ridiculous
break
in a
save
way.
is fine, but
Yeah.
and
And
getting
they go to
a money financial penalty, absolutely fair. Sporting penalty is just not on, and
sporting penalty is ridiculous.
I am sorry, I'm going to hijack this a little bit, Luty, but I do think that the consistency of the stewards and of race control, certainly this season, has been diabolical. It's like the steward.
Well, Pico.
We've
You've got to
created.
be careful there, mate.
What?
You'll get us
Pico,
cancelled.
what's your words? You will get murdered by the FIA if you do this. You cannot do this. This is not allowed. Why are you doing this?
I think that's the loudest I've ever heard.
Opinion.
I'm going to be docked 3 places in the queue of getting into the XL in London. But yeah, like we've had to create a series looking at the errors of the stewards because they haven't been consistent enough. The safety car on the Saturday race, which is why Dan Tickton got that penalty for saying that safety car was rubbish, I think is accurate. And from what I saw from a lot of the community, it is accurate. And actually, I think there would have been a lot more uproar if another driver got that penalty. But because it was Dan Tickton, everyone's willing to sweep it under the carpet, and that's just not on. You need to treat everyone fairly. But
it's on.
Dan's always very outspoken, and that's something that we do love about him.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing. Like, you have the TV guys. Yeah, but you have the TV guys talking about the penalty pre-race on Sunday, and nothing critical, nothing. Like, it's really disappointing seeing like journalists not actually bringing that up. And in all honesty, you can say like damaging the sport is also a rule and blah 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 blah. The FIA. If I wake up, I look at my phone, I see they're doing sporting penalty for something like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was this close to just turning off the TV and going back to sleep again. And really, do I care about the series anymore? I don't know. Even if Dan stays, does it matter? Is this worth it? Watching this going here? I don't know. It just feels like crap.
Luty's furious. Luty is furious. Right, Luty.
No, it's just how I feel about this. Because
you're more than...
if this is how it's run,
Yeah, and you're more, and this is what this show's all about, is for you to express that opinion. Luty, we're going to have to end it there because I've still got 3 more people that I've got to try and get through. But it's been an absolutely great call. And pleasure having you on, and thank you so much. And we'll speak to you soon.
Yes.
I get his frustrations. I really do get his frustrations. For me, though, with it, and this is my final thing I'm going to say on the Dan situation, is I think you've just got to be smart, right? You can say what you want to say, but right. I'm sure there's been drivers in the past, right, who have been really angry and want to swear to the media about X, Y, and Z, but they don't. And it's just, if that's what I said, if he said that was totally unacceptable, that safety car, it was the biggest, clearest mistake, I don't think he gets any penalty, I don't think he gets any comeuppance, right? But it's just the fact of the word that he used and the way it's been taken.
He said your pants instead of lost it. If he said that he'd lost his head.
Yeah, he lost his head.
Nothing.
Like, nothing.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. But it was just the word, and it's just unfortunate. Yeah. But anyway, we're joined by Chris, our resident Jake Dennis fan. But I'm gonna talk about Jake Dennis' teammate, because as an Andretti fan at the same time for Chris, surely, man, Felipe Drugovich, what progression that young man has had for the Andretti team, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first things first, I want to say celebrating Andretti best of the rest now.
Yeah.
Third in the championship. Admittedly, they ain't going to catch the Jags or the Porsches because that's just the way the championship is. But best of the rest is probably the best they could hope for in a season.
No, I agree.
And That is, to be fair, these past few races, that's been down to Felipe. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Jake got the podium first race and in Shanghai and also won in Sanya, so I actually can't really discredit him because Jake's still bringing in more points.
I did text Liv after they got the 1-2 in Sanya saying, you've been dragging him down these years. As soon as Liv left, they get a 1-2 in Sanya. I mean, come on. You need to doing the maths there.
Yeah.
Dead weight.
Yeah, I've got
love you, Liv. Good luck in McLaren.
I was going to say, good luck to the McLaren Hypercar team.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. That's it. Doomed. Doomed.
I will say before she was at Andretti, she was at Mahindra.
And they were terrible. Oh, terrible.
Also, they were terrible when Damien was there, but that's because he's Swindon Town fans.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's
poor PR guys. But Dragovic, unbelievable. I've been super impressed. Like, he was a little bit down on himself earlier in the season, not getting it, but now he's got it. Right. So I've been super impressed. But as I said, as a Jake Dennis fan, one, it's good that Jake's got some competition, right? I think some healthy competition, and two, I think it might get the best out of Jake.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I say having two drivers that are pushing that car to the best that it can be. Again, Andretti being a small team, they need all the information they can get.
Yeah.
And would I say that car's the third best on the grid? Probably not.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think the drivers
I think it's
are dragging
close,
that.
though.
I'd say
I think they've made.
Probably...
I would agree with you, 100%. But I think that Andretti car has improved significantly.
Oh, it has. And it's quite hard to separate car from driver, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only difficulty, and I think that car's probably in places where it shouldn't be, and obviously that's thanks to the two drivers. And yeah, I think it is getting the best out of Jake, which is a massive relief, because obviously when Felipe came in at the start of the season, I thought, oh, hang on a minute, is this going to be the first time Jake is beaten by a teammate? Yeah. I was a bit relaxed. I was relaxed with that by the end of Madrid, but
now, yeah, it's a proper challenge. Go on, Pico.
I'm just going to have to give you another update. It is not. It is full time. Spain have progressed. Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo are out.
Oh, sorry, Ricardo.
Sorry. Proceed.
But yeah, well, congratulations, Spain. But yeah, I'd say it'd be interesting to see next season. Admittedly, we say going to a complete new car, it's going to be a complete experience for everybody. And yeah, which way is it going to go in the teammate battle next year?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now Felipe's up to speed.
And I think that's going to be the most interesting. But I think it'll be a good battle, right? And both of them are pretty much signed up for next season, so that's good news. And yeah, I've been pretty impressed. Right, I threw the Dragovic and Dennis thing straight at you. What did you want to talk about? Unless it was that.
Well, I think I was just going to celebrate Andretti being third in the championship. But let's say, I think I came into Sanya after Jake's win saying, is this title fight on? Say 31 points. It's not impossible.
It's really not.
You need another Pascal Wehrlein DNF, or you need a Pascal Wehrlein bad race and a good race for Dennis to bring it back into.
Yeah, it's mathematically possible if you go into London with a 58 point straight. So mathematically possible.
You're unlikely.
If you're within 30, if you're within 30, you've got a decent.
I think you have to be within 15 going into London.
Agreed, but on the flip side, I'm looking at Tokyo and London. Look at the tracks Jake's done well at this season.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo, it's right at the start of the season. Sanya. We are talking qualifying strength tracks where you can defend. That is where Jake excels.
Also, I know it isn't recent. I know it isn't as recent as it used to be, but Jake Dennis always used to be the London specialist.
Yes.
So, yeah.
To
add that in there as well. That reminds me. I need to book my hotel for London.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to book a hotel for London as well.
Wait, what? Are you not?
I'm going to stay at home. I will, but for the last day, so we can go out.
Okay.
Oh, good
the
lad.
Sunday.
Okay.
So I need to book it for the Sunday night.
Go clubbing. Let's go.
We're going club. We're all going to the Fox, mate. That's where we're all going and seeing what
Yeah.
happens after that.
To be fair, that's where I went.
Yeah, a couple of
Remember
seasons
we went a
ago.
couple of years ago, and then I just got drunk out my
Absolutely.
mind with Hazel and the Andretti lot. So actually, perfect place for
Perfect
you,
place.
Chris.
Perfect place.
Yeah.
See if it happens again. Chris, we're gonna let you go because
No worries.
I'm trying to. But thank you. Sorry, it's a shortish one, but we've got our Andretti fix, and now we're gonna go talk to our resident Jaguar and Mahindra fans. Thank you so much for coming on, though. Thank you so much for waiting.
No worries. Cheers,
legend
Jen.
as always.
Sorry to be as enthusiastic as Lou.
Yeah, Lou was furious. Absolutely.
He was absolutely fuming. I thought.
To be fair, I think I fueled a little bit of that.
Reeled him in.
There was a little
Reeled
bit
him
of
in.
throwing the coal on the sky out there, Jack. I did see that.
Yeah.
The loudest I've heard Lou speak in my life, which was brilliant. Amazing. Right. Have a good one, and we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, Jen.
See you later. Right, we're going to get Will in, and then we'll end with our good friend Johnny, who didn't get on the show last time because he was so late, but this time at least he's here at a reasonable time. Will, my American friend, how are we?
Doing all right. Can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yeah,
well. Hear
loud
you
and
well.
clear.
Is it coming home?
All right, brilliant. Sorry, what about coming home?
Is it coming home? USA, is it coming home?
You play tonight, don't you?
Maybe so, but I mean, I'm rooting for England. So what does that say about me?
Well, so you live in England, so that's acceptable.
There you go.
Yeah, but more interestingly, what do you feel about the overturn of the red card for Logan?
I mean, I honestly didn't see the game nor what happened, so I don't really have an opinion.
Yeah.
But seems anything that touches certain politicians is quite a bit dodgy, is what I'll say.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's a strange story. As strange story as the Shanghai E-Prix, because obviously it was won
There
by
you go.
Lola's Lucas de Grassi. What did you make of the weekend and the races that you saw?
Okay, I have I did prepare a 2-minute monologue,
Go
but
on.
I also could just
Right,
you ready?
2-minute monologue starts now.
Okay, Ticton absolutely should not have been given a sporting penalty for some words that he said. I think it sets a bad precedent, and there's no way that it was a slur, at least not in my definition of the word. If you say somebody pooped their pants, it's not. Anyway, okay, so that's that. Safety car in race 1, I mean, again, going back to the previous point, it was a bit questionable. I thought a lot of the competitors worked it was very difficult to get those gaps, and they worked in rainy conditions to get them. I think a full course yellow would have been perfectly fine. There was nobody walking on track. There was no car stopped on track. I didn't see the need for a safety car right off the bat. I thought that a full course yellow probably could have done it for the time that you had the heavy rains. On that note, and we saw this also in race 2 with Ericsson, Formula E needs to do something about the attack modes, because when you have that full course yellow in race 1, when you have the same full course yellow in race 2, the timer keeps ticking down, and that completely changes the race, right? In race 1, you saw Cassidy, just because he's my guy, as well as a few others, that their races were compromised irreparably because you had the full course yellow. In race 2, you saw Ericsson, who I mean, I would have wanted to see when the full course yellow ends, if you just freeze the attack mode, then Ericsson has 3.5 minutes. Degrassi is going to have 4 minutes or thereabouts. That would have been, I think, an epic battle to see. Okay, here we have the 2 attack modes. There's a slight offset, and so let's see who wins. Just seems crazy that the teams spend all this effort and money to travel to the other side of the world, and then simply a badly timed safety car completely ruins your race because the timer keeps ticking down. Very happy for Degrassi and Lola, for them to get their first win, Degrassi to get his probably last win in Formula E. That's fantastic. And it's remarkable that he went from 13th on lap 21 to 5th on lap 23 in race 2. That was crazy. And nobody said anything about the hysterical "come on" on the radio. I mean, that was like
it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
And it was also bizarre to see at the end Roland come into the pits, I think, change tires and gain 10 positions in the last 4 laps to finish in the points. That was just, I don't even know what to make of that. It was crazy. And last thing I'll say, is that I want a Kiwi championship. Can we please get a Mitch Evans championship? You know, Verline. Verline's great. He's probably the best driver, or at least him plus Porsche is the best combination this year.
Yeah.
But he's already got a championship. Evans doesn't have one. Can we please get a Kiwi championship?
Well, we need one for you. Great monologue, by the way. And
Thank you.
it was just over 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. I tried.
You tried. It was a good one, though. What did I want? To be honest with you,
before the monologue, we just needed a live from New York. It's Saturday night, but well.
Yeah. Well. Never mind.
You can splice it in post.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I wanted to pick up on your attack mode idea, though, because I think maybe, I don't know if you agree, Pico. The timer goes, right? And you've the attack mode, but I know that's part of the game. It is part of the game, you know. And it's like a cheap pit stop in Formula 1, but you lose your attack mode, so it's not a cheap pit stop. You've lost out, basically. You can't get the cheap pit stop.
Yeah.
Right? And basically, that's why Grassi won, because he still held on to that final attack mode. What do you make on that? Do you think that's something like, if we go into a full course yellow, can that actually happen where we stop the clock? Because it doesn't matter anymore, right? It's not like they have to complete attack mode. So just stop the clock.
Yeah. I know it's an interesting one, and I think it's something that if they haven't looked into it, I'd be surprised, because it's something that's been spoken about for a bit, and so it needs to. And I feel like it's something that absolutely needs to happen, but it is an absolute logistical nightmare. But if something like when we had in the first couple years of Gen 2, they were able to mathematically take percentages out, a certain percentage out of the things on the graphics, then for me, it should be doable to just stop the attack mode right there and then. But yeah, there was so. Obviously, Ericsson did take the attack mode before the full course yellow came out.
Yep, by about 30 seconds.
Yeah, when Zane had been parked there for about a lap. But the thing is, we didn't know if it was going to be full course yellow, because if it was a safety car, I reckon that safety car might have been out to the end of the race. If so, Ericsson would have finessed it by taking that attack mode, and Lucas Di Grassi would have had to be served a 5-second penalty, which was lost him his third place at the time. Yeah. So I understand the logic of why Ericsson did it, just in case the full course safety car came out and the race did finish under the safety car, like it did somewhere else where it shouldn't have done this weekend. But yeah, so yeah, I really like that idea, and they should really look at implementing that for the sport. We still got a while on the sporting race and stuff like that.
Do you think that's something that could be something that you'd be more interested in, to try and combat that problem?
Well, it was like changing the percentages basically of energy remaining. Is that what?
No, so when attack
mode. Yeah, that's what happened in the start. So that was start of Gen 2.
Yeah, the energy reductions.
Then we had the Valencia kerfuffle, and they changed it for season 8.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so, but what we're saying is the attack mode, right? So when the full course yellow comes out, when the safety car comes out, we pause the timer.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's perfect. That's your solution, right? To me, that's the obvious play. I will say that as somebody who designs software systems, I often think, okay, well, this is the problem, but is there something further up the chain, right? So the only reason we're really talking about this is because of how strong attack mode is this year, right? It's very strong. So obviously, in this next generation, if it's four-wheel drive all of the time, because that's arguably the bigger advantage of attack mode right now, is that you get the four-wheel drive as opposed to the extra power. I mean, the extra power is nice, but so with the next generation, it'll be interesting to see that the delta, because I would say that if the delta is half a second a lap, then that, all fair play, that's fine. You lose it if the safety car comes out, that's just part of the game, that's okay. But when it's 1 second, 2 seconds, I think it's so large that Do you know what I mean? That the
Yeah.
magnitude is such that your entire race is built completely around that, and so if you lose that, it feels unfair. That's it.
Okay, I agree. Will,
I will say, just very quickly, it'll be interesting to see with Gen 4 because it's Gen 4 is going to be different because it obviously right now we have the 50 kilowatt increase and then it goes from 2 to 4-wheel drive. Next season, it just 4-wheel drive for everything and it's 150. So even though the jump is tripled, there isn't the 2 to 4. So be interesting to see how that plays out, and then they might just want to test bed with that and then move on from there.
Will, we've got to let you go. Thank you so much, though, for coming on and waiting.
Thank you guys for having me.
No worries. It was great as always, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe I'll just always be the caboose, the last one on. Maybe
Well,
maybe that's my slot.
maybe it's your slot, the wheel slot. We'll try and get you on earlier. It's because you didn't book. If you booked, I would have let you on earlier. But
yeah, it's all good. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Okay, and then we're gonna get, last but not least, a resident Mahindra fan, Johnny. Johnny, where is Mahindra? What's gone wrong? It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, let me not start with the negative. Let's start with positive things.
Go on then. What's the positive? Hit me with the positives.
Lucas Di Grassi winning the second race, going on a high, retiring on a high. That was the
It was a lovely fairy tale story. I think it was like the good news story. It was like it made everybody feel better. I think that story. That
And for once, like Lola getting the strategy right and like Di Grassi like executing the strategy perfectly, and everything falling in place for them. It was really a feel good story.
It was, and it said, and as Will was saying, it just shows how powerful attack mode is. Keeping it to the end and having it's like an ace up your sleeve. If you can keep that and use it as late as possible, all of a sudden you could be flying and winning races. It's just incredible how powerful it is. But come on then, we got to talk about the negatives. What's going on with your team? What
I
is
won't
going
take
on?
much of your time because it's gone too late. So second thing, Pascal winning like the machine. He's the Germinator, I think so, right?
Yeah.
It's called. And thirdly, Mahindra having somewhat positive in the first race with Nick, I think so, was 5th and Edo was 10th.
He lost it though, didn't he? He lost it. He lost the 10th for the collision with Van. So he lost 2 points.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he also had he had the fastest lap as well. So he had on the Saturday, he had the fastest lap and the 10th place point, which gave him 2 points. So he lost those 2 points, sadly.
Okay. I didn't know about the penalty which he got. Okay, fine. So that's one more negative then.
one more nail in that coffin.
So let's come to negative. I'll be the most, I think, so controversial Mahindra fan right now because I'm going to slander them like anything. Like Mahindra being like exactly like Ferrari of Formula 1. Like it's always on either luck or some weird like a fluke strategy or something. I'm starting to feel like they're becoming the Ferrari of like Formula E. And I'm starting to believe that they might not ever win any of the championships in future. And for Gen 4 coming in, if it is a miracle that the Gen 4 car is good of Mahindra, then I'm like, that is the last hope like which I have right now.
Don't.
For Mahindra.
I'm gonna give you some positives, right? I'm gonna give you some positives. That man, Frederick Bertrand, right? He'll get it right. Look what he's done with this team. He'll do it again, right? I won't panic. You've got the right man in charge, for sure. Right? So, it might have been a late decision from the board to go with the Gen 4 product because there was talks of Mahindra becoming a customer team and so forth. So the fact that he's got the commitment from the board to be a Gen to go again, and now he's got I believe in Frederick. So if I believe in Frederick, you can believe in Frederick, and maybe that is the hope that we can cling on to for Mahindra. It might be a difficult start to the Gen 4 era, but I think the development race might be rapid on software side of things to get it right, because there's going to be a lot of change, a lot of new things, a lot of learning that could happen. So not too yet. I know it's bad. I don't think Mortara's a championship contender anymore. To be honest with you, I think if they can try and steal third place back from Andretti, I think that's a good season.
Don't get me wrong on the team. I don't think the team lacks this, but they don't have the luck. I don't know what they are missing, because they have the strongest package. You see, Lola, they have won a race with a least favorable
with the worst
package.
Car,
and then Mahindra having one of the best packages right now. The car is one of the best, and still they've only managed one win in that in Monaco. So that makes me like this. I know Fred, and one more similar to Ferrari is he's also Fred, and we have Fred also in Ferrari
same
as
name,
well. So
same name doesn't help. Terrible. But the last thing I'll say just quickly. I think, I don't know if you'd agree, but I just feel like Mahindra need another season of Gen 3 Evo to work out all the gremlins. I think they've just come at it a season too late. They needed another season where they could then go, right, we've made our mistakes, we know we got a good powertrain, here we go. This is our championship run. I just think they ran out of time for Gen 3, unfortunately.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's the whole thing, right? Exactly. And Gen 4 is coming too soon for them, actually, compared to the other teams. You see Porsche and all, they are I think so they are well ahead in the development race and for Gen 4. So I don't think so there'll be anyone challenging Porsche for the title next year. And with the consistency what Pascal brings, I think he is going to have a very good title fight next year as well,
Yeah, it could be.
So
it could be a Pascal Wehrlein run, a mini domination. But Johnny, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
No, you're always welcome on the show, my friend. We need our resident Mahindra fan. I tell Frederick Bertrand basically about you. I go, we got a massive Mahindra following, right? And you are our Mahindra following, and I know there's a couple of others, but you, young man, unbelievable.
I would really love to talk to Fred, actually, if I can personally, whenever you have him on the show.
Did you miss it? We had him on the show once upon a time.
Yeah, I know, but
that was over a year ago, mate. We haven't had
a long time back
in like a year and a half.
It's a long time back.
I'll try my best. It's hard getting guests. I've been working on getting 2 on, and it's been hard. So it's not easy, but we will try and get some guests on that. So it may hopefully in the off season as well. So fingers crossed.
And hopefully, I think so. Penske also next year. I have heard of rumor that Penske will maybe go for a Mahindra powertrain.
Well, I don't know if they
because DS is leaving. I don't know how true it is. If that happens, then it'll be a little bit helpful for Mahindra to have a customer team as well.
Yeah, to sort of learn from. But then I don't think Penske will be any good at this precise moment, because it's a bit scary what you're hearing about Mahindra at the moment. But fingers crossed it will only get better. But Johnny, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll speak to you soon.
All right, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
Right, no worries.
Yeah. Take care. Bye. Bye. Oh, bye, Jack. Bye.
What a legend. Right. I'm going to ask a favour, people, because I don't do this very often, and I need to get better at doing this, Pico. If you haven't already liked the stream, like the stream. If you're in the stream and you haven't hit the like button, we're like 2 away from 20, which is actually quite good for an FE bar.
I've liked it now.
Well done.
It says that it's gone from 1 to 2.
Oh, well done. So we're up to 90. So if we can get one more, numbers. If you haven't hit the like button, that would be amazing, and also hit the subscribe button as well. I think we've had a decent show, my friend. I think we've had a lot of people come in.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know how you and Carl did it a couple of weeks ago when it was hot, because I've changed. No one noticed. I changed shirts at the half time, and I've sweated through this one as well. So
mate, it was hotter on the review calendar show.
I know.
Oh, we've got 20 likes.
That was a really bad one.
I love you guys. Thank you. It just helps, with all the algorithms and all that stuff, and all that good stuff. Right.
That's good to know. I'll do it more in future.
We will be back. When will we be back? I suppose the Tokyo E-Prix, which isn't far away. Whether or not the question is, will I be there?
That was going to be my question. I thought I was going to do it after we go off air, but yeah.
Will I be there? Good question. Find out in the Tokyo E-Prix, because I'll either be there or I won't be there. But you'll find out, because if I'm there, you'll get some good videos. If not, then you know. But thank you so much for watching the FE Bar. We've been Jack. That's been Jack Pickering. And he's got to speak to Joel Eriksson in Swedish now. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Good night.